close your eyes and let yourself drift back through time, back beyond yesterday, beyond last year, beyond human history entirely. We're traveling back to an age that began around 230 million years ago, during a period called the Triassic. This is when the story of the dinosaurs first began, in a world so different from our own that it would seem like another planet entirely. The first dinosaurs were actually quite small, nothing like the giants we often imagine. These early creatures were roughly the size of a modern dog or cat, walking carefully through ancient forests on two legs. They shared their world with many other reptiles, and they weren't yet the dominant animals of their time. But they had something special, something that would eventually change everything. As millions of years passed, the Earth itself was transforming. During much of the dinosaur age, our familiar continents didn't exist as we know them. Instead, all the land masses were joined together in one enormous supercontinent called Pangaea. Imagine being able to walk from what is now North America all the way to Africa without ever crossing an ocean. The dinosaurs lived on this connected world, able to spread and evolve across vast distances. The climate during the age of dinosaurs was remarkably different from today. The Earth was much warmer, with tropical and subtropical conditions extending far closer to the poles than we see now. There were no ice caps covering the Arctic or Antarctic, and lush vegetation grew in places that are now frozen tundra. This warm, humid world provided perfect conditions for dinosaurs to thrive and grow to extraordinary sizes. Speaking of size, the largest dinosaurs ever discovered were the long-necked sauropods, and among them, Argentinosaurus may have been the biggest. These gentle giants could reach lengths of over 100 feet and weigh as much as 100 tons. That's more than 10 African elephants combined. Imagine a creature so tall that it could peek into a 4-story window, its heart pumping blood all the way up that impossibly long neck. But how did these creatures grow so enormous? Part of the answer lies in their bones. Unlike mammals, many dinosaurs had hollow bones, similar to modern birds. These air-filled spaces made their skeletons much lighter than you might expect for animals of their size. An Argentinosaurus, despite weighing many tons, had a skeleton that was remarkably light for its volume, allowing it to support its massive body without collapsing under its own weight. The sauropods also had an incredibly efficient digestive system. They didn't chew their food like we do. Instead, they swallowed vegetation whole, along with smooth stones called gastroliths. These stones would sit in their stomachs, grinding and crushing the plant matter as the dinosaur moved, acting like living mills to help break down the tough fibers. Some of these polished stomach stones have been found by paleontologists, still smooth after millions of years. Not all dinosaurs were peaceful plant eaters, of course. The predators of the dinosaur world developed their own remarkable adaptations. Take Tyrannosaurus rex, perhaps the most famous dinosaur of all. This apex predator lived at the very end of the dinosaur age, around 68 to 66 million years ago. With a bite force estimated at over 12,000 pounds, it had the strongest bite of any land animal that has ever lived, strong enough to crush bone and tear through almost anything. But here's something that might surprise you. Despite its fearsome reputation, Rex was probably covered in feathers, at least during some stage of its life. We found evidence that many dinosaurs, especially the theropods, two-legged carnivores, had various types of feathers or protofeathers. These weren't necessarily for flight, but likely helped with temperature regulation and display. Imagine a T-Rex chick, fluffy and downy, growing up to become one of the most powerful predators ever to walk the earth. Let your mind wander through those ancient forests now, where ferns unfurl in the humid air, and the distant calls of dinosaurs echo through the mist. As you drift deeper into relaxation, let's explore more of this ancient world together. The dinosaurs lived on Earth for an extraordinarily long time, approximately 165 million years. To put that in perspective, humans and our closest ancestors have only been around for about 6 million years. The dinosaurs' reign was so vast that the Stegosaurus, which lived around 150 million years ago, was already ancient history by the time T. Rex appeared. In fact, more time separates Stegosaurus from T. Rex than separates T. Rex from us. This immense stretch of time is divided into three main periods: the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. Each period brought new species, new landscapes, and new wonders. The Jurassic period, lasting from about 201 to 145 million years ago, was when some of the most iconic dinosaurs lived. The time of the great sauropods, the plated Stegosaurus, and the fearsome Allosaurus. Now, let your mind drift to the topic of intelligence. When we think of dinosaurs, we often imagine them as slow-witted creatures, but some were remarkably clever. The Trudon, a small dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous, had one of the largest brain-to-body ratios of any dinosaur. Its brain was similar in relative size to that of a modern emu, and scientists believe it may have been one of the most intelligent dinosaurs, possibly capable of complex problem-solving and social behaviors. Speaking of social behaviors, many dinosaurs were not the solitary creatures we once imagined. Evidence shows that numerous species lived and traveled in herds, much like modern elephants or buffalo. Fossilized trackways have been found showing dozens or even hundreds of individuals moving together in the same direction. These herds would have provided protection from predators, help in finding food, and support in raising young. Imagine the ground trembling as a herd of Parasaurolophus moved across an ancient floodplain, their distinctive head crests catching the light. Those crests, by the way, served a fascinating purpose. Parasaurolophus had a long, hollow crest extending back from its skull, sometimes reaching over 3 feet in length. This crest was connected to the dinosaur's nasal passages, and scientists believe it acted like a musical instrument. When the dinosaur breathed through it, the crest would produce low, resonant sounds that could travel for miles. Each species with these crests would have had its own unique call, creating a symphony of sounds across the prehistoric landscape. The diversity of dinosaurs was truly remarkable. They came in almost every size you can imagine, from the tiny Microraptor, which was only about the size of a crow and could glide between trees, to those massive sauropods we discussed earlier. Scientists have identified over 700 different species of dinosaurs so far, and they estimate that we've only discovered a small fraction of all the species that ever existed. There may have been thousands of different kinds of dinosaurs throughout their long history. Many dinosaurs were also devoted parents. Fossilized nesting sites have been discovered that show dinosaurs return to the same locations year after year to lay their eggs, much like modern sea turtles. Some species, like Maiasaura, which means good mother lizard, built nests and cared for their young. These nesting grounds could be enormous, with hundreds of nests clustered together in colonies, suggesting complex social structures and cooperative behavior. The eggs themselves varied greatly in size. While some dinosaur eggs were as small as a tennis ball, others, like those of the massive sauropods, could be the size of a basketball. But here's something interesting. Even the largest dinosaurs started life surprisingly small. A baby Argentinosaurus, which would grow to be one of the largest animals ever to walk the earth, began life weighing only about 10 pounds, about the size of a human baby. The growth rate required to reach adult size in just a few decades was extraordinary. Let yourself relax even deeper now, imagining the warm sun of the Cretaceous period, the gentle sounds of prehistoric birds in the distance, and the slow, rhythmic breathing of these magnificent creatures as they rest in the shade of ancient trees. As you sink further into comfort, let's discover more about how these remarkable creatures adapted to their world. One of the most fascinating aspects of dinosaurs is their incredible diversity of defenses. The Ankylosaurus, often called a living tank, was covered from head to tail in thick, bony plates called osteoderms, similar to the armor of modern crocodiles, but far more extensive. At the end of its tail was a massive club made of fused bone that could weigh up to 60 pounds. With one powerful swing, an Ankylosaurus could deliver a blow strong enough to break the leg bones of even the largest predators. Not all defenses were about armor and weapons, though. Speed was survival for many dinosaurs. The Gallimimus, whose name means chicken mimic, was one of the fastest dinosaurs ever discovered. This ostrich-like creature could run at speeds estimated between 30 to 40 miles per hour, allowing it to outrun most predators. Picture this graceful runner, its long legs carrying it swiftly across open plains, its small head held high as it scanned for danger. The world of dinosaurs was also a world of constant change, and they adapted to almost every environment imaginable. Some dinosaurs even lived in polar regions. Lilinosaura, a small plant-eater discovered in Australia, lived within the Antarctic Circle during the Cretaceous period. While it wasn't as cold then as Antarctica is today, these dinosaurs still endured months of winter darkness and cooler temperatures. They had unusually large eye sockets, suggesting enhanced vision that helped them navigate through the long polar nights. Communication among dinosaurs went far beyond the sounds we mentioned earlier. Many species had elaborate visual displays. The Dilophosaurus, for instance, had two thin, parallel crests running along the top of its skull. While we can't know for certain, scientists believe these crests may have been brightly colored and used for display, helping dinosaurs recognize members of their own species or attract mates. Imagine these creatures in the dappled sunlight, their crests flashing brilliant colors as they move through the forest. The connection between dinosaurs and modern birds is one of the most beautiful discoveries of paleontology. Birds didn't just evolve after dinosaurs went extinct. Birds are dinosaurs. They are the direct descendants of small, feathered theropods, making them the only dinosaur lineage that survived the mass extinction 66 million years ago. When you see a sparrow hopping in your garden or hear a crow calling from a tree, you're observing living dinosaurs, carrying on a legacy that stretches back over 230 million years. Some dinosaurs had truly bizarre features that still puzzle scientists today. The Therizinosaurus possessed the longest claws of any known animal, with each claw reaching up to 3 feet in length. Despite appearing fearsome, this dinosaur was actually a herbivore, and scientists believe these massive claws were used for pulling down branches to reach leaves, or possibly for defense. Imagine this strange creature, standing 16 feet tall, its impossibly long claws gently stripping leaves from high branches. The discovery of dinosaur fossils has its own fascinating history. The first dinosaur to be formally named and described was Megalosaurus in 1824, though people had been finding strange bones for centuries before that without understanding what they were. Ancient peoples who discovered large fossil bones sometimes interpreted them as the remains of giants or dragons. In fact, some historians believe that dinosaur fossils may have inspired dragon legends in various cultures around the world, as people tried to make sense of these enormous, mysterious bones emerging from the earth. Fossilization itself is an incredibly rare process, which makes every dinosaur fossil precious. When a dinosaur died, its body usually decayed completely, leaving nothing behind. For fossilization to occur, the body needed to be buried quickly, usually by sediment from a river, lake, or ocean. Over millions of years, minerals slowly replaced the organic material, turning bone into stone. Scientists estimate that less than 0.1% of all dinosaur species that ever lived have been preserved as fossils. Each fossil we find is a small miracle, a window into a world that existed unimaginably long ago. Breathe slowly and deeply now, feeling yourself drifting peacefully, like sediment settling gently at the bottom of an ancient sea, preserving these stories for millions of years. Let your mind wander now to the colors of the dinosaur world. For a long time, we could only imagine what colors dinosaurs might have been, painting them in murky greens and browns. But recent discoveries have changed everything. Scientists can now examine microscopic structures called melanosomes within fossilized feathers, and these tiny structures reveal actual color patterns. We now know that Sinosauropteryx, a small feathered dinosaur from China, had a rusty red and white striped tail, like a fluffy prehistoric raccoon. Some dinosaurs were likely as colorful as tropical birds, with vibrant displays of reds, blacks, and iridescent feathers that shimmered in the ancient sunlight. The daily life of dinosaurs followed rhythms much like animals today. Many dinosaurs were diurnal, meaning they were active during the day and rested at night. The large herbivores would spend most of their waking hours feeding, consuming hundreds of pounds of vegetation each day to fuel their enormous bodies. They would move slowly through forests and plains, pausing to rest in the shade during the hottest parts of the day. Picture a herd of Brachiosaurus, their long necks swaying gently as they browse on the highest branches, the afternoon sun filtering through the canopy above. Some dinosaurs, however, were nocturnal hunters. The evidence suggests that certain small theropods hunted under the cover of darkness, using their keen eyesight and hearing to track prey. Fossils of these dinosaurs show enlarged eye sockets and brain structures associated with enhanced night vision, much like modern owls. These creatures would have emerged as the sun set, moving silently through the shadows, their presence known only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the soft pad of clawed feet on ancient soil. Water was as essential to dinosaurs as it is to all life. Paleontologists have discovered numerous fossil sites near ancient water sources, showing that dinosaurs gathered at rivers, lakes, and watering holes, just as animals do today on the African savanna. These gathering places were probably social hubs, where different species would cautiously coexist, always watchful for predators. The giant sauropods could drink enormous quantities, lowering their heads to the water's edge, while smaller dinosaurs darted between their legs to take quick, nervous sips. The plant life of the dinosaur era was dramatically different from what we see today. During most of the dinosaur age, there were no flowering plants at all. Instead, the landscape was dominated by ferns, cycads, ginkgos, and conifers. It wasn't until about 125 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period, that the first flowering plants began to appear. This botanical revolution transformed the world, providing new food sources and eventually leading to the evolution of new dinosaur species adapted to eating these plants. Imagine a world slowly blooming into color as the first flowers opened their petals under a Cretaceous sky. Dinosaurs also dealt with parasites and diseases, just like modern animals. Scientists have found evidence of various ailments preserved in fossils. Some dinosaur bones show signs of infections, arthritis, and even cancer. One famous T. rex specimen named Sue shows evidence of having suffered from numerous health problems during her life, including a parasitic infection in her jaw. Yet she survived to become one of the largest and oldest T. rex specimens ever found, showing the resilience of these magnificent creatures. The sense of smell was highly developed in many dinosaurs, particularly the predators. Studies of dinosaur skull structure reveal that some species, including T. rex, had exceptionally large olfactory bulbs, the part of the brain responsible for processing scents. This means T. rex likely had a sense of smell comparable to modern vultures, able to detect the scent of prey or carrion from miles away. They could track wounded animals across vast distances, following invisible trails through the ancient air. Some of the most intriguing dinosaur fossils capture rare moments in time. In Mongolia's Gobi Desert, paleontologists discovered two dinosaurs locked in eternal combat, a velociraptor and a protoceratops, preserved exactly as they died fighting each other around 74 million years ago. The velociraptor's sickle claw is embedded in the protoceratops's throat, while the plant-eater's beak is clamped around the predator's arm. They were likely buried suddenly by a collapsing sand dune, freezing this dramatic moment forever. Let yourself drift now, peaceful and calm, imagining soft moonlight on ancient lakes, the gentle breathing of sleeping giants, and the quiet passage of countless peaceful nights across millions of years. As you rest here, deeply relaxed, let's journey toward the end of our story. The teeth of dinosaurs tell us so much about how they lived. Herbivorous dinosaurs like Triceratops had dental batteries, with hundreds of tiny teeth packed together in rows. As the front teeth wore down from grinding tough plant material, new teeth would move forward to replace them. Over its lifetime, a single Triceratops might grow and use thousands of teeth. Meanwhile, carnivores like Tyrannosaurus had teeth designed for a very different purpose, with serrated edges like steak knives, perfect for tearing through flesh and crushing bone. The size difference between the smallest and largest dinosaurs is almost impossible to comprehend. The bee hummingbird, a living dinosaur descendant, weighs about as much as a penny. Compare that to Patagodoton, one of the largest dinosaurs ever discovered, which weighed approximately 70 tons. That's a weight difference of about 3 million times. It's as if house cats and blue whales were both considered the same type of animal, which, in a way, dinosaurs and modern birds are. Many dinosaurs migrated seasonally, following food sources and favorable climates across vast distances. Fossil evidence from North America suggests that some herbivorous dinosaurs traveled hundreds of miles between summer and winter feeding grounds, much like modern caribou or wildebeest. Imagine these great herds on the move, a slow-motion river of prehistoric life flowing across ancient continents, following paths worn smooth by countless generations before them. The asteroid that ended the age of the dinosaurs struck Earth approximately 66 million years ago, creating the Chicxulub crater in what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. The impact released energy equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs, causing immediate devastation across the globe. Massive tsunamis, worldwide wildfires, and a cloud of dust and debris that blocked out the sun for years followed. The impact winter that resulted made it impossible for most large animals to survive, bringing an end to 165 million years of dinosaur dominance. But not all dinosaurs perished in this catastrophe. As we mentioned earlier, the small, feathered theropods, the ancestors of modern birds, managed to survive. These creatures were small enough to need less food, adaptable enough to change their diets, and capable of flight or living in burrows that protected them from the worst effects of the impact. From these survivors, over 10,000 species of birds have evolved, making birds the most diverse group of land vertebrates today. Aside from fish, the study of dinosaurs continues to reveal new surprises. Scientists discover an average of about 50 new dinosaur species each year. Advances in technology allow researchers to learn things that would have seemed impossible just decades ago. CT scans let us see inside fossilized eggs without breaking them. Computer modeling helps us understand how dinosaurs moved and how much they weighed. Chemical analysis of bones reveals what they ate and even what the climate was like when they lived. Each discovery adds new chapters to this ancient story. Some of the most complete dinosaur fossils are dinosaur mummies, preserved with skin impressions and sometimes even internal organs. In 1999, a remarkable Edmontosaurus specimen nicknamed Dakota was discovered in North Dakota, preserved with extensive skin coverage. This fossil has helped scientists understand that dinosaur skin was more varied than previously thought, with some areas having small, pebbly scales while others had larger, plate-like structures. The preservation was so exceptional that scientists could even see the texture and patterns of skin in incredible detail. And finally, as you drift towards sleep, consider this. Somewhere beneath the ground, perhaps near where you are right now, there may be dinosaur fossils still waiting to be discovered. These ancient bones rest patiently in the rock, holding their secrets, waiting for someone to find them and tell their story. Every day, someone somewhere makes a discovery that changes what we know about these magnificent creatures. The story of the dinosaurs is not finished being written. It's a story that continues to unfold, connecting the deep past with our present moment. Let yourself sink into complete relaxation now, surrounded by the peace of deep time, where millions of years pass like quiet breaths, and ancient worlds dream beneath our feet. Rest well, knowing that the story of life on Earth is vast and beautiful, stretching far beyond what any of us can imagine. Sleep peacefully as you rest in perfect comfort. Let's share just a few more gentle wonders from the age of dinosaurs before you drift completely into sleep. The Spinosaurus was truly unique among predatory dinosaurs. Unlike most theropods that hunted on land, Spinosaurus spent much of its time in water, hunting fish in rivers and coastal areas. With a long, crocodile-like snout, dense bones that helped it dive, and possibly webbed feet, it was the largest known semi-aquatic predator to ever walk the earth. Picture this giant, over 50 feet long, wading through ancient waterways, its distinctive sail rising above the water surface like a prehistoric submarine. That sail, by the way, could reach heights of nearly 6 feet. Made of elongated vertebrae covered in skin, scientists believe it may have been used for temperature regulation, helping the Spinosaurus warm up in the morning sun or cool down in the shade. It might also have been brightly colored, used for display to attract mates or intimidate rivals, creating a spectacular sight against the ancient sky. Some dinosaurs were incredibly widespread across the globe. Fossils of certain species have been found on multiple continents, showing that these creatures successfully dispersed across vast distances. This was possible because, during various points in dinosaur history, land bridges connected different continents, allowing dinosaurs to migrate and colonize new territories. Life found a way to spread and flourish everywhere it could. The Pachycephalosaurus had one of the most distinctive features of any dinosaur, a dome-shaped skull roof that could be up to 10 inches thick. For years, scientists debated whether these dinosaurs used their thick skulls for head-butting contests, like modern rams, or primarily for display. Recent research suggests it was likely used for both purposes, with males engaging in pushing contests to establish dominance, their domed heads absorbing the impact. Dinosaur footprints, called trace fossils or ignites, sometimes tell us more than bones alone ever could. These tracks reveal how dinosaurs moved, how fast they traveled, and whether they moved alone or in groups. Some trackways show a predator following herbivore tracks, capturing a hunt in progress millions of years ago. In one remarkable site in Colorado, over 1,000 footprints were preserved, showing a massive gathering of different dinosaur species. The smallest adult dinosaur we've discovered is likely Microraptor, which was only about 16 inches long and weighed less than 2 pounds. This tiny creature had 4 wings, with flight feathers on both its arms and legs, creating a biplane-like appearance. It would glide from tree to tree in ancient forests, hunting insects and small animals. Its iridescent feathers would have shimmered like a modern crow's, black with hints of blue and green. Not all dinosaurs went extinct at once. In some isolated areas, certain dinosaur species may have survived for a short time after the main extinction event. Some scientists believe that small populations could have persisted for several thousand years in refuges that were less affected by the asteroid's impact, though they eventually succumbed as ecosystems continued to collapse around them. Dinosaur fossils have been found on every continent on Earth, including Antarctica. In fact, Antarctica was once a lush, forested environment during the Mesozoic era, home to various dinosaur species. Fossils of Cryolophosaurus, a large predator with a distinctive forward-pointing crest, were discovered there in 1991. Imagine this creature, adapted to the cooler polar climate, hunting in forests where now there is only ice. And finally, one last peaceful thought. The name dinosaur itself means terrible lizard, coined by British paleontologist Richard Owen in 1842. But despite this fearsome name, we now know that dinosaurs were incredibly diverse, ranging from fierce predators to gentle giants, from tiny insect eaters to massive herbivores. They were not just terrible, they were magnificent, wonderful, and endlessly fascinating. Close your eyes now and rest completely, wrapped in the comfort of knowing that life on Earth has been resilient, diverse, and beautiful for hundreds of millions of years. The dinosaurs had their time, and they lived it fully under different skies, on different lands, in a world both alien and wonderful. Let go of all thoughts now, drift away into deep, peaceful sleep. Good night.